Hey everybody, how are you doing today? So this is a reaction video to an article that I just read, written by William Shatner. I guess it's more of a blog post in response to his time when he went up in space and orbited the planet. Um, he just had this epiphany and he wrote this piece because he was really profoundly affected by it. And really, it was the title that caught my attention. My trip to space made me realize we have only one Earth and it must live long and prosper. Couldn't agree with you more, William Shatner. I mean, Captain Kirk, Bill Shatner. Yes, either, all. I agree with you totally, but you know, I never really thought about it in such stark terms as the way he puts it here. Let me just read through a few of these things that he writes. He says last year at the age of 90, and guys, he's 90 years old. And I mean, honestly, he's such a treasure, and who knows how much longer we're going to have this guy around. So, Bill, thank you for writing this blog post and sharing your thoughts. So he had this life-changing experience, and he writes, I went to space after decades of playing a science fiction character who was exploring the universe and building connections with many diverse life forms and cultures. I thought I would experience a similar feeling, a feeling of deep connection with the immensity around us, a deep call for endless exploration, a call for indeed boldly going where no one had gone before. I mean, yeah, that is so Captain Kirk. That is exactly what I imagine he was looking for when he went up in space. But then he writes, I was wrong. As I explained in my last book, which clearly I didn't read, but whatever, he explained in the last book, what he felt was totally different. I knew, he says, many before me had experienced a greater sense of care while contemplating our planet from above because they were struck by the apparent fragility of this suspended blue marble. I felt too, but the strongest feeling dominating everything else by far, he says, was the deepest grief that I had ever experienced. And now that caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting him to experience grief while there. I mean, wonder, joy, all of that, but grief? But he goes on to explain, while I was looking away from Earth and turned toward the rest of the universe, I didn't feel connection. I didn't feel attraction. What I understood in the clearest possible way was that we were living on a tiny oasis of life, surrounded by an immensity of death. I didn't see infinite possibilities of worlds to explore or adventures to have or living creatures to connect with. I saw the deepest darkness that I could have imagined, contrasting starkly with the welcoming warmth of our nurturing home planet. Wow. Like that is such a poignant statement. And what a perspective to put on it. This man who inspired us to dream about space, to dream about adventure, to really put science fiction on the map to a large degree, is having this great epiphany of sadness when he is doing the thing he's always dreamed of, and that's of being in space and orbiting our planet. And he goes on to say that this was an immensely powerful awakening for him. It filled him, with sadness. He realized that we had spent decades, if not centuries, being obsessed with looking away, with looking outside. And he played a part in it, he says. I played a part in popularizing the idea that space was the final frontier, but I had to get to space to understand that Earth is and will remain our only home, and that we have been ravaging it relentlessly, making it uninhabitable. I mean, that is such a powerful statement. And He goes on in the rest of the article to talk about how space is affecting us, affecting him, and how our world is really kind of being impacted by the way we are developing technology and that impact on our world. We can do something now. We can do something to save our planet or at least to slow things down. And when you look around, and this is my reaction of this article at this point in time, after two major historical hurricanes ripped through the southern United States, killing hundreds of people in their path, destroying tens and tens of thousands of people's livelihoods, their property, their homes, their animals, their safety, their security. And now these people are struggling to rebuild their lives on a planet that is increasingly experiencing these kinds of historic and dynamic and increasingly catastrophic um, natural disasters is really the only word for it. And I don't know, it just hit me at the right moment, this thing from Bill Shatner and all of the stories that I've been reading about the people in the South. It's just, we need to do better. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for posting this. It was clearly earlier and I missed it, but I read it when I needed to read it. And because you wrote it, I read it now and it was meaningful. So thank you. And you guys, I will link to it in the notes below. And be sure to drop some comments as well. What do you think? Did you read it? And what do you think of Captain Kirk having this kind of epiphany? And how do you think you would feel if you were up in space looking down at our little tiny planet in the vastness of the black? It's got to be just one of those moments that you just cannot fathom until you feel it. Anyway, all right, that's it for now, guys. If you see any other interesting articles, let me know. I would love to see them. This kind of stuff fascinates me, so feel free to link to things or tell me where to find stuff. I love reading this kind of stuff. All right, that's it for now. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more, because you never know when I'm going to come across some article by somebody that really kind of strikes a chord and a note, and I would love to chat about it. All right, everybody, I will see y'all later. Bye for now.